Alright guys, Bjorn here, back with more Yakuza 0. It's been a few days, we're back. Well, I mean, you're not going to see us after this whole time anyway, but for me at least, it's been a few days.
Relatively slow day with a pickup of a pace later in the day,
listen to
but ultimately, just to forewarn you, nothing has changed. Don't worry about it. Really, like, nothing major has changed at all, except that there's been a little bit more progress on the Danny front. But we'll talk about it all from yesterday. We started the day, obviously, Enzo, still HOH. He has nominated Kaser and Kevin, but Kevin has the veto. He will be taking himself off the block. The plan in place is for Enzo to nominate Christmas as the replacement because she volunteered for the position.
Okay, I don't have anything. Let's go ahead and buy stuff then.
The greatest move in the world. So that's the plan on the docket. But we also, of course, have Tyler in play, and he's been trying to get people against
erotic
Danny for a
videos
while
here.
now. His initial plan, I believe,
I've got to
was
check that out, right?
Day and Bay
What the fuck
and
is
move
that?
forward in that direction. But after the David situation, he's had to be a little more aggressive with Enzo, flipping him, and he's really getting to a point, I think, where he's just like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it.
I'm right fucking here.
We'll talk about all
That's
of it.
really
Cody
dumb.
and Enzo have a conversation in the morning. Right? Cody encourages Enzo to put Christmas up. Hey, she volunteered.
This is actually a thing?
Perfect. We're not going to hear anything about flipping this vote. No way. If anybody says anything about flipping this vote, boom, they're done. Forever.
Wait, do we have to find
You,
it?
me, and Tyler, we're going to run this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's
okay.
really good for Cody, right? His best move right now is to
Yeah,
Kaser
so
out.
okay.
Anybody who would be...
Anyway, I gotta buy some supplies. We need to find a store.
I think things will change in that power structure.
Wait, do we have money?
Sooner rather than later, and I'm not sure if Cody knows
30,000,
about that
okay.
just yet, because I don't think he has a clue that people are onto Danny. Like, more people besides maybe Enzo. But from that conversation, I think that's the right move for Cody. Just get Kaser out, make like the
Well, yeah, it's 100% the right move to
to
get rid of Kaser right now.
right? But for
If you're
Cody's game,
Cody,
it's best
especially.
that he delays it as much as possible.
They love Tyler though, because he's willing.
He's
willing to just go after whoever. Enzo, he's cold-blooded, yo. Because Tyler keeps telling them like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go after Danny. Like, I don't even care. And so they love it. Like, yes. Enzo's like, the poor guy. Yo, that's it. He's tired. He can't have his tofu. He's sleeping downstairs with the enemy. He's waking up with Danny, being like, oh man, oh poor guy, yo, that's it. He's sitting on my couch. I'm like his psychiatrist. He's like, I'm ready to backdoor Danny next week, yo. He's like the bandit. He's the bandit. He's like, I wanted to call us the bandits. And Cody's like, we can't call us the bandits if he's the bandit. No, he's the green-eyed bandit. We're the bandits. I'm the Sean Dance kid. That's a bandicy kind of name. That's it, yo. So,
Enzo
oh wait, fuck
is
that, fuck
hysterical. I definitely think he has one of the most underrated social games ever at this point, right? We're seeing it now in this season. He's just so charismatic. He makes you feel like you're his person, right?
Yes,
He's a guy's guy, but he also relates to girls very well. It's something I haven't seen on Big Brother, especially in his, I guess, age bracket, in a really long time. I think it's really refreshing. I love having the Meow Meow on this season. He's frustrating at times, but I mean, isn't every Big Brother player frustrating at times since we get to watch them 24/7? But I love the way that he talks about people, or the way that he looks at the game. I disagree with the way that he does
so it's been a few days. I mean, since this isn't coming out immediately when I record this, it's kind of weird just talking about current events, but yeah, I'm kind of unsure about what I really want to do with the Yakuza series at this point, because something I did do recently was fully schedule, or like not fully schedule, but like flesh out the schedule for next year a bit more in terms of video game videos, and like I kind of realized that there's a decent amount of big projects next year that don't even not even including 2018 games. Which through that, it's like I kind of realized that's like that's kind of gonna take a lot of time, and like to do the Yakuza video would kind of be going out of my way at that point. But I'm definitely gonna finish Zero here. I mean, I'm 100% finishing Zero. It might be a slower process to get through the rest of the Yakuza games. I might abandon this split plan for a little bit and then come back to it later. I don't know, but we'll finish Zero here. At least. And also, considering how long these games are and everything, I do think it will become kind of annoying to play all these games in one shot anyway. But yeah, we'll finish Zero. After that, we'll reassess and see what to do. But
considering someone like him or her, but hopefully they can talk him out of it, and they can make this work. And so that's where they are right now. And Ian feels like they're in a pretty good place. Ian feels, other than maybe being put up as a pawn. You know, Janie going last week was a huge break for us, he says. Huge break. Everyone made such a mistake sending Janelle home. We're in such a great spot. And the reason we can't keep Kaser is because the battle back, you know, what if Janelle comes back and
looks like Gods and Monsters got
that's unfortunately
its new
still
names got leaked. Which is like what, Immortals, Phoenix Rising. Whatever.
It's so better for his game if Janelle is there. Just because he is, like, there's only two winners in the game. It's him and Nicole. And I think, to Nicole's credit, which is hard for me to do, Nicole is doing a great job of keeping Ian alive in this game. She's the one that's bringing him into these things. She's the one that's filling him in at least of the social dynamic, the social environment of the game. She's telling him, you need to just go against Kaser. You need to tell people you want Kaser out, so that you don't get up on the block, so that people aren't tempted to vote you out. Because selfishly for Nicole, she knows if she's up on the block against Ian, she will stay. I don't see any world where she gets evicted over Ian. So for her game, she knows inevitably people will go after the winners at some point. That's a really great valid excuse to go after somebody. But for her to be putting in so much work to keep him alive in order for her safety net to be larger and safer, I commend her for that. I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and so and I really, you know, it's not enough players in this game are up to speed on the new school game, right? Like, when Janelle asked Ian how close he was to Nicole and if he was willing to go with them instead of with, you know, Nicole's group, and Ian was like, no, I'm with Nicole, don't you dare go after her. Like, that was an opportunity for Ian to play both sides a little bit, to be like, okay, look, I'm with Nicole. Nicole's never coming after me. It's not good for my game if you go after Nicole. But if you think she's working with a bigger group, have at him. I don't care. I'll be with you. I won't come after you. It's good for my game if you go after them and I get more Nicole to myself. And if they're going after you, that's also good for my game. So why not try and keep this around for as long as possible? We're seeing the results that as soon as Janelle left, Ian is now one of the biggest targets on the board. Could have been backdoored this week. Still might be in the future. But instead, he, you know, kind of locked himself back into the position he's in. Right, it's frustrating for me when I watch Ian on Big Brother 14. Like,
うちは上下関係めっちゃ厳しいですし、ちょっとでも人気出そうな子が入るとすぐ上が潰しにかかるんですよ。
競争が激しいっちゅうことか。せやけど、そない中でも人気ある子っちゅうんはほんまにすごい子なんやろな。
そうですね。ナンバーワンののぞみさんなんか毎日開店と同時に目当てのお客さんがひっきりなしに来てますわ。
そののぞみっちゅう子はどんな子なんや？
のぞみさんですか？ほんまはお客さんに他の子のこと話したらあんまり良くないんやけど、まあ一言で言うと真面目な人ですわ。そのお客さんの中には銀行のお偉いさんとか政治家の先生とかも多いんですわ。 せやからうちらそないな人と話し合わせるために新聞やニュースをいつもチェックしとけって店からうるさく言われてるんです。のぞみさんは特に真面目でやる気のある人やから、そういうお客さんから受けが良くて指名をたくさん稼いでいったんです。
名実ともにトップレディッチュがけやな。ほんなら人気が出んのも当然やな。
ああ、せやけどこの前若いお客さんが来た時は逆に全然話題についていかれへんくてめっちゃ面白かったですわ。あ、今も内緒にしてね。うちがそないなこと言ってたのが他の子にバレたら大変なことになってしまうから。
安心しいや、誰にも言わへんって。可愛いとこがあるやないか、そののぞみちゃんも。
Ian does also talk about David. He said, you know, I had no problem with David until he came up to me and started talking. It's like he's got a crystal ball that he shakes up and just says whatever pops up. It makes me want to vomit.
毎日こない繁盛しとるんか？
まあ年末っちゅうこともありますけど、最近はみんな強制で同伴させられてるから、その分お客さんが多いんとちゃいます？
そうやったんか。けどそない必死になって同伴させるほど景気悪そうには見えへんけどな。
意地張ってるだけですわ。最近客の入りでグラウンドに負けっぱなしやさかい。今月は絶対に勝たな全員罰金とかむちゃくちゃ言わはりますねん。
何やそら、自分とこが儲かっとればそれでええやないか。なんでグラウンドが関係あんの？
うちもそう思うんやけどな。支配人はそう思ってへんみたいで。正直なんぼ同伴したって常連さんも毎日何十万も使ってくれるわけとちゃうし、新規のお客さんを増やさへんと頭打ちなんよね。
ほう、なるほどな。
Tyler and Christmas have a conversation. They haven't talked in a while. They're catching up a little bit, but still not a ton. Tyler does warn her not to give Danny any information to use against her, and they talk about Danny being sketchy. He's still continuing to plant these seeds with Christmas. Christmas lets him know about her conversation with Nicole and Danny the other day. She mentions that they wanted to throw the HOH to her. And they were like, oh, it seemed like you really needed it. That pissed her off. They were trying to use like her child to be like, oh, you needed it because you wanted to see your child. That's why we're going to throw this HOH to you. That's why we're going to have you go after people for us. And so that did not make her very happy. She does not tell Tyler that she volunteered for the block, though. I feel like at this point, she's not telling anybody. I think at this point, she feels like she's still not being nominated. Nobody's told Christmas yet that, oh, that offer's being taken up. You are going on the block. So she doesn't quite realize that yet. And I wonder if she had told Tyler earlier in the day, if Tyler would have been pushing harder for Danny earlier in the day.
Right. Again, like I get,
それがあんたのやり方か？そないなことせんでものぞみに会いたきゃ呼びますせ。説得でも交渉でもしたら。
そないなことしてもトップのあんたがうんと言わないことは動かん。俺が説得しに来たんはのぞみやのうてあんたや。山本。
私？
俺が見たところこの店確かに繁盛してるが客層がおっさんに偏っとる。今はそれでもええが今後もっと売り上げを伸ばそう思うなら客層を広げんことには頭打ちや。
うちは在籍100名を超える大箱ですせ。客の好みにも幅広く答えられてんとちゃうか？
いや、この店のホステスはどれもおっさんが好きそうなタイプの女ばかり。若い男に受ける子が絶対的に不足してる。まだ実は今オデッセは深刻な女不足。一人でも多くの新人が欲しいちゃうか？
根拠はあるんやろな。
俺が店に入った時満席っちゅうことで入り口でチートばかり待たされた。せやけど中に入ったら空席が目についた。
really liked Christmas,
客
wanted
全
to
部を
work
相
with
手にできる
Christmas,
ほどのホステス
and
が出勤して
never
ないっ
would
ちゅうこと
have,
や
like, he was taught, like,
その
she's her
証拠に
bulldog. Like,
男
he
3人
wanted
に女2
Christmas,
人っちゅう
he
テーブ
wanted
ル
to
が
work with Christmas, he wanted to pull her into an alliance.
普通
Like,
は
if she had
マン
approached
ツ
him
ー
with
マンが
this
基本
idea for a Kevin
場合
Christmas
によっては
Enzo
I find it so dumb that people are
absolutely
upset,
totally down.
like
She
calling
didn't
it
need to
Enzo a terrible
roll into
player and
the
everything
block,
for
in
not
my
backdooring
opinion, to
Danny.
make this
It's like
happen.
it makes
賢い
no
あんたの
sense
こ
for
と
him to actually pull off this
そん
move.
だけ言えば俺の腹は伝わったやろ
Especially because like he's not even guaranteed to get her out if he puts her up. Like she's against Kisser, who's like the biggest target in the house. It's like it's dumb. Like it really is dumb for him to put up Danny this
その
week.
望みがおらんよう
Makes
に
so
な
much
っても
more sense for
今の客層を支える
him
べき
to allow
仕事
someone to
が
target
分
her
散
next week
こ
instead.
こにはホームランバッターは腐るほど
Christmas is gonna go up as a
そろそ
pawn.
ろ
She's like, okay.
バントのできる
As
選
long
手
as
が
I'm not
必要
gonna
な
be
時期
like
なん
the
とちゃうか
person that keeps going up as a
それ
pawn.
で
It's like, Christmas,
うちの4番に
Enzo
対
has
して
no control
あんた
over
は
that.
何指した
You
つもり
go
や
up as a pawn, people
ま
are
ず
gonna
は
start to use
手
you
付けとし
as
て
a
一銭
pawn. That's just how it
明
works.
日にでもうちの門に
But
届け
they
させても
agree
らう
that they're working together.
Again, there's just such long conversations in this game. It's like, what the
若
fuck?
い客層を狙って育てとった連中いわば将来の一番バッターっちゅうところそいつらから好きなの何人でももらう
真島藩あんたが目つけた秘族をこっちによこすと
ああそうこうし揃った将来間違いなしの連中やで
ええんですか敵に死を送るようなもんです
こっちは当面の売り上げが欲しいその代わりあんたんとこには将来の売り上げを保証する別にそっちだけが得をする話でもないで
なるほどなあんたは顔に似合わず敵作らんとうまいことやる方法を知っとるらしいこれが真島五郎のやり方っちゅうわけだ
交渉成立ってことでいいな
ええでしょうただあんたんとことうちはライバルや今日みたいなのはこれ限りにしてもらいましょうかこれからはうちも全力で勝ちに行かせてもらいます覚悟はええな
好きにせえやさてとええ酒飲ませてもろうたお勘定頼むわ
勉強させてもらいましたからね今日は私の大ごりっちゅうことで
空ごちそうさんほな
No. Just Enzo trying to build relationships.
Enzo gaining puppets. I think that Christmas is looking at it like, oh, I really like this. Christmas might be loyal to it. She, as far as I'm aware, has not told Tyler about it yet.
なんとか引き
I
抜
don't
き成
know
功
if
や
she will. But I think that she does look at it as a
いろいろあんね
thing for
のぞみ
her.
のシフトとか詳しいことは明日
Whereas
話せ
Enzo looking at it like,
わかりましたお疲れ様です
I put my bulldog in a cage with another person. You know what I mean? Like great. I've got my bulldog on call. Now.
Yeah, so today, the plan is obviously play this for a little bit, and then tonight I would like to fully prep everything I can up to this point for my BB22 review. So write the script up to this point. I don't know, probably not make the thumbnail, but at least like set up the thumbnail, and then also because like I'll probably end up using a image from the finale, especially because we never got a cast photo or anything like that. And then also you get the images and stuff I need that I can so far. So that's what I'd like to do today. If I can get that done, then I guess let's start work on videos for next year. Should start off with the fucking Fallen Angel ranking, which will probably take a while.
Testing out hiding spots for himself, not like for a veto competition. Like he is getting under the bed, putting the bed over him, and being like, okay. And then he gets up and he puts the bed back in the photo room. Then he went went behind like the dresser and he like opened the door enough so that it would be hiding him, and it's in the corner behind the door that comes in. And then he was in the storage room and he got in the trash can and like put the trash bag over him so that he would be hidden. I don't know exactly what he is doing here. Maybe he is trying to be the next James from season 17 and 18, and he wants to do some fun pranks. Or he is trying to be the next Tony Buckos, and he's trying to do some Spy Shack stuff.
I was trying to figure this out too. I'm like, he's bored, right? He is extremely bored. He won veto now. He's 100% safe. Now he doesn't have to like whine all week. He's just gonna hide and play hide and seek with himself. No, I actually really like that take about Tony. I can see him trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna hide here and see if anybody comes up here. And I'm like, oh, like if you can hide in the storage room and wait for people to come in there and have their like 2-minute chats on the bridge, that could be useful. I just don't think Kevin's even 100% implication for anything good at all. He hasn't been able to do it all season. But yeah, I was saying to my friends, I was like, if the only entertaining thing that happened today was Kevin hiding in spots, I'm not sure how entertaining today was. But yeah.
So the feeds go down for a long time because there is a wall yeller. The wall yeller yells, "Nicole and Cody are playing everyone," which, like, you dummy, you think that's gonna change this week? Like, what are you doing? Why would you say that? Why wouldn't you say something like about Christmas or about Danny, like coming for Enzo, like something that could actually save Kaser?
Right.
Dummy.
I'm very half and half on the wall yellers, right? I think it's funny to watch, like, oh, haha, outside interference, like that's something that's kind of funny. The gamer in me would be absolutely so livid if I was in the Big Brother house and someone yelled, like someone outside the game influenced the game directly and it impacted me. In this regard, though, I don't think it changed anything like super impactful, at least for the immediate future or the immediate like right now.
Honestly, I don't think it changed a thing. People are talking about like, oh, the night was crazy. I don't think it had anything to do with the wall yeller.
Right. I think it would make a really big impact if they had said something like Nicole, Cody, and Danny are playing you all. Because then I think Danny gets backdoored for sure, right? Because Enzo's already sort of a little bit thinking about it, and he could say, oh, you know, I heard some things. But I just think saying Nicole and Cody, I saw people online saying, oh, that's the thing that he should have said, or they should have said that's great. I'm under the impression that maybe they shouldn't have said anything at all. Just because I don't think, like you said, it doesn't help anything.
I've said this before, all wall yellers do is give the people in power ammunition to do what they want. In this case, it's going to be Tyler, who is going to be able to sort of manipulate the situation to advance his own agenda. I think that he would have been advancing this agenda regardless. And so that's all it is. And personally, I've also said this: wall yellers, you know, people are like, oh yes, go wall yeller, and it's like that's great as long as they're saying something that you think that you want.
Right.
But like, they're like vigilantes. Like, you might be like, yes, as long as they're like killing the people that you think are deserve death, right? But then what happens when a wall yeller comes in to screw over somebody that you like? Now all of a sudden you don't like wall yellers and it's really unfair, and why isn't CBS stopping the wall yellers? Because they screwed over my favorite. Could you imagine if Kaser and Janelle were playing really well and because it's just one individual comes up and screws Kaser and Janelle over and they get sent home because of it? How do you feel about that?
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I could just imagine today someone walks up to the backyard and just yells, "Davon's America's player," or like, "Oh, Enzo is like playing you all," and these people, now that everyone like they will definitely use that against someone like Davon, right? So I agree. I think it's funny because it's like, oh, haha, but I would just rather not have it at all. I don't understand how CBS like can't stop
the time. I do think they do have security out there some of the time, but like, the thing about this too, like, if a wall yeller does yell something that actually does change the game, let's say against Cody and Nicole, let's say it actually works to some degree, what's to stop another person who's like, I hate that just happened, from then going into the across the river and yelling something that counteracts it, or goes against, like, oh, if you think you're benefiting whoever, like, I don't know, Kaser, because of this wall yelling, then I'm gonna go and screw Kaser over, because screw you for yelling that. Like, if you open this can of worms, it doesn't bring you to a good place.
Right. You are exactly right. Like you said, people aren't big fans of Nicole right now. For the season. So they were happy that the wall yeller said she was playing everybody. But the people in power know that Nicole and Cody are kind of running everything because they are the ones who are in the majority alliance. I'm sure they could just justify that by saying, oh, they didn't have enough time to say all of our names. They just said Nicole and Cody because they're the most visible. You hit it right. Tyler is in power. He's going to use this as a way to just push his own agenda. It's not helping the people on the bottom at all.
And it's only the most deranged people that are going to go there to yell, and those people are not the people that you probably want to be interfering with the game.
No, because they're not going to, like, you only have, what, like 3 or 4 seconds to really get a message out, and those people who are going to go and yell aren't going to be thinking, like, oh, what's going to make the most impact? They're just going to say something that in their mind thinks, oh, this is going to be really cool. They're going to realize that they're playing hard. It's like, of course they're playing hard. Everyone is saying, oh, this game is so laid back, but everyone knows that they're playing hard right now, too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. So, wall yeller happens. Feeds are down for like 4 hours, which is also fun, of course. Day, when the feeds come back, Day is talking to Christmas. She still wants David up on the block to take him out, or maybe Ian, like somebody other than you, Christmas. Christmas agrees, I'd be down for that. She's playing the role. She talks to Day like, hey, we're on board. And she says that Christmas says that Danny is somebody that she's worried about. And Devon agrees with that. So that would be an option as well. Enzo talks to Nicole. He lets her know that nothing has changed. Christmas is the one going on the block. Nicole says that makes some sense. Kaser talks to Enzo, and he pitches. Kaser says, all right, it's Tyler, Danny, Cody, and Nicole. It's what I've said. Are you close with them, Enzo? Enzo said, I keep them close because they're beasts. Why would I not want them on my side? And this is something that Kaser should listen to, I think. But Kaser says, well, you're on the outskirts of that. And you need me in this game to keep you safe from Tyler and Cody. And Tyler, he's just too good at this game. Did you watch his season? He just picks people off. That's what he does. He picked off the girls. And he took out the people. He's too good. Enzo's like, yeah, I hear you, Kaser. That's it.
You're on
Kaser
30.
went about that really wrong, right? He literally told Enzo to go after all the people he's working with. I guess Kaser might be underestimating Enzo's game by saying, oh, there's no way that Enzo has these close relationships with her. Or if he thinks that he does, they're not as strong as their bonds with each other. That's where I didn't understand why Kaser was like, you should just put up David, or else I'm gone. If you put up anybody else but David, you have just kicked me out, Enzo. You have killed me. I am dead because of you if you don't put up anyone but David. I'm like, David, I get it. David has, annoyed people. He's pissed off Tyler. He's pissed off Bay and Bay. It makes sense. I get where Kaser is coming from. But if he had just listened to what Enzo was saying, and I think this has been Kaser's problem all season.
Alright, you know what? Let's just end here.
He isn't listening to what other people have to say. He's putting out his own feelers. He's saying, this is the way it is. This is the way that it is. You all don't see it, but I know this to be true. And everyone at least knows some tidbit of the truth.
The
and they're saying, look, that might be true, but it's not possible to shake that up right now. We need to do this, that, and the other. If he had just listened to what Enzo had to say, I think that maybe there would be a better chance for a Danny to go up, or maybe somebody else. But again, Kaiser firmly believes